Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica. Honestly, I am so excited, and that's because I'll be going further with the FTSL series. FTSL means Finding the Silver Lining, and Finding the Silver Lining is my first book, which I published sometime in 2021. I decided recently that I was going to pick each of the lessons of this book and do it into a video, right, by telling you what's in it, the lessons to learn from it, and the story that I shared in each of the lessons. The reason why I came up with this idea is so that people who are not readers or lovers of books will maximize the use of watching my book, right? Just watching my book and learning the lessons, so you don't have to lose. If you know that you've not been able to read my book, or you are not just someone that loves to go through pages of books, then these videos are for you. And in my book I shared 25 lessons that I learned in 25 years, and I've decided to take each of those lessons one after the other. And today we are going to the fourth lesson. Wow, we started from the first one, the second and the third. So if you have not watched any of those three, I'm going to link them up somewhere around the screen within the minute, and then you can actually watch them first before you continue. But today we are going to be talking about the fourth lesson. Guys, do we all remember our mantra? We are still talking about finding the silver lining, and I explained the idea behind finding the silver lining. If you really want to know about the idea and everything, watch my previous videos. Finding the Silver Lining is a very interesting book, a great book where I shared a lot of my experiences, and I believe that you will learn from it. Okay, but there's a mantra that we say in every video, and I want to believe that you know it already. But if not, I'm going to teach you again. It says, I am bold, I am brave, I am not discouraged, I will always find the silver lining. If you also want to know the meaning of silver lining, watch my first video of this series. I'm going to put it up somewhere on the screen. Watch it and you understand everything, the backstory, the background of how I got this title and everything. So, but make sure that you always say this mantra to yourself to remind you how special you are, to remind you to not always be discouraged, because life will not always be a walk in the park. Life will come with its own twists and turns, and if you're not prepared, you might give up. But if you have that in mind, that whatever life throws at me, I will always be bold, brave, and I will not be discouraged. I would always find the silver lining. So I encourage you, and you would always pick up yourself whenever you feel discouraged. All right, before I delve into today's lesson, I want to encourage you to subscribe, join the family. I want to appreciate our subscribers already, all my subscribers. I appreciate every one of you. I see all of you that comment, like, and make my video reach more audience. But if you have not joined the family yet, this is the time. Join, because I'm going to be putting out so many videos that would bless you, inspire you, educate you, and encourage you. And one of the things I want you to go with from this video is to know that sometimes you need experiences from people's lives so that you can learn in advance, and so that you don't have to make such mistakes. And that's why I decided that I'm going to share these lessons as much as I can, encourage people so that they can learn, and so that they can also make decisions, sound decisions, when they find themselves in a particular situation. I've already found myself, and I've decided to share with you guys. But you might not necessarily know when I put out a video if you're not already in the family or part of the family. So click the subscribe button now, and also click the notification bell beside it, so that you'll be notified whenever I put out a new video. Let me give you a backstory about the last lesson which I talked about, and that lesson is titled Do Not Live to Please Others. That lesson, I shared a story where I was always eager to please people and give people things without thinking about the repercussion on my own end, and I was able to teach how I was able to overcome that. And the lesson from that particular one was that you shouldn't please others. Why? Because takers, or people that would always want things from you or want you to do things for them at your own detriment, will not think of you All right, they just want what they want, and they'll always just leech on you without also giving you back in return. So the lesson is telling us to have a discerning spirit, to know who is leeching and who needs your help at that particular time, and would also help you back in return if you find yourself in that particular position, or if the tables were turned. That was what lesson 3 was all about. Having said that, let's go into today's lesson. The lesson for today is whatever you do, do well. And that's the title of lesson 4 of my book, Finding the Silver Lining. So let me start from this point. There's sometimes that we feel that there's nothing that we have to lose from doing the right thing. Like, if I do the right thing or if I don't do the right thing, there's nothing I have to lose. After all, nobody is necessarily looking at me, because you actually think so, that nobody is looking at me or nobody will notice and all of that. But it pays you to do what is right, because you never can tell when you would be rewarded for it. So this lesson is telling us that whether or not you have something to lose, it's better to do what is right, because truth be told, your name is indirectly attached to that work. So if you're saying that I'm in an office and other people are not doing what they're supposed to do, and the workload is on me, most of the workload is on me, and I'm not going to care, I'm just going to do what I want to do, and I'm just going to do it anyhow. After all, it's not my father's business. I'm going to resign and leave and all. But there is actually something there for you to lose, because most of these systems will already have the attachment, or they'll have the system designed in such a way that your name is attached, or it shows that it's your work, and then they just know that you didn't do things right. And it's not like you don't even know what you're supposed to do. You have the resources, you have capacity to do it, but because you care less, you decided not to do it. So this lesson is telling you that whatever it is that you're doing at work, in school, right, do it well. Do it well. I'm going to share a personal story, but before that, let me tell you how I came up with the title. If you are someone that goes to church well, or you come across Bible passages randomly, you'd hear people say, whatever your hands find to do, do it well. And I had to go and search for that Bible passage so that I can make it as a reference point here. And I'm going to be reading it. It's from the book of Preachers, and that's Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 10. Okay, so that's just how I came up with that. So it's not like I coined it, like I actually derived it from that verse of the Bible, because I actually have a lesson to share, and that lesson relates to this particular topic. So I used the topic coined from Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 10, and it says that whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, for in the grave where you are going, there is neither working nor planning nor knowledge nor wisdom. Okay, this verse is short, but it carries a lot of weight. There is neither working, there is no planning, there is no knowledge, there is no wisdom in the grave. So the time that you have to do what is right, or the time that you have to do what you want to do, is now, while you're still living. That verse was how I coined the lesson from, and trust me, anytime I remember that verse, it just helps me to keep doing things right. And sometimes it's really difficult, it's hard, sometimes I slack, but that's why these lessons, I have to refer to them. And if I tell you that I refer to lessons in my book till now, you will most likely not believe, but it's like a reminder for me, because I already put it on print. So I go back and I look at it, and this video, I'm sure that now that I'm even making it into a video, it's even easier to remember. I can go back to watch. You also can do the same, right? So whenever you feel like you want to do something shabbily, or you want to just do it anyhow, just remember this video, remember this Bible verse, Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 10, right? And make sure that you do things right. Also remember, in my book I shared an adage that my mom would always tell us, that I'm going to say it in Yoruba, but don't worry, I would interpret it. Don't worry, I know a lot of people do not understand Yoruba, and I respect that. We are not all from the same place, but I will still say it in Yoruba, and then I would interpret it for you. And she would say, bí èèyàn bá ṣe ṣe nǹkan oníǹkan náà ló máa ṣe tiẹ̀. Yes, so bí èèyàn bá ṣe ṣe nǹkan oní nǹkan náà ló máa ṣe tiẹ̀. I'm tempted to say Yoruba people watching should interpret, but don't worry, I'll just do the interpretation. It means that how you do other people's work or other people's things, how you handle other people's things, just depicts how you're also going to do your own. Okay, you might say, it's someone else's work. When it's my own, I'll do it better. When it gets to your own, trust me, you will do it almost the same way because that's what you've already taught your mind to do. So my mom would always tell us anytime that we slack in doing things, you say, you think you're doing me, you're not doing me. How you do my thing, how you do someone else's thing is also how you will do your own, right? However you lay your bed is how you will lie on it, okay? Something similar to that. So these teachings were what brought up the lessons I learned when the experience eventually happened to me, when I eventually experienced it. So I relayed it to all of these teachings. So let's move on now to the story. What happened, right? What happened? What experience did I learn from that, in retrospect, now made me relate it to this lesson? I was working in an organization and it was at the peak of COVID, right? It was at the peak of COVID. We were all mandated to work from home. So working from home can be really draining, to be honest. So sometimes if you think that I want to work from home, there's some organizations that you have to avoid working from home like a plague. Let me not even lie. But this time it was compulsory. COVID was outside. Everybody was it was locked down, and organizations wanted to make sure that they continued working. The organization where I was working, to be honest, we could survive working from home. But the thing is that we were short staffed. Like those that have worked in financial organization or in a capacity of reporting, accounting, and all of that, finance, operation, and all of that, please tell me in the comment section if you can relate to what I'm saying, because we were short staffed and our organization was even booming more at that time. We had more work to do, but we were short staffed. And then I had to work late into the night most times. I'm always awake. I was getting burnt out, to be honest. And then you work from morning, you work during the day. And you know how distractions work during the day. Most times I try to work more at night so that I can meet up. So I wake up almost every night. I'm working. There was even one of these nights, I mentioned it in my book, where I was working and all of a sudden my dad just came and appeared from nowhere. I was like, is it work you're still doing? Because I speak about my parents. So it was like, is it work you're still doing by this time? I say, yes. You didn't know what to do. You just went and came back. Guess what? You brought some sachet of sweets and gave them to me. And I was confused. What am I supposed to use this one to do? Honestly, if I take that sweet, I'm sure I won't be able to work for long before I find myself in the kitchen hungry. But that's just to digress, to be honest, because that showed you how concerned it was. My mom too was concerned. Everyone was concerned because I was always waking up to work. Not always, but at least, because there's sometimes that I'm too exhausted to work, so I just go to sleep. Or if I don't wake up to work, I won't meet up every month. And you know how month end and the beginning of a new month can be. You're doing reporting, you're doing balancing of accounts. Guys, it was a lot. And then I was like, oh no, I can't cope. I have to move on. And like, we have to get to a point where I don't know when that time will come, but we are going to talk about this particular attitude of organizations, knowing what to do about their staff strength or putting in conditions that will make things easier for their staff, but they don't do it until it gets to the point when they want to resign or when they want to leave. And then you hear questions like, what can we do to make you stay? Really? Guys. You casually walk up to your manager and tell your manager that I have so much workload. Can we recruit more people? What can we do? And they're like, yes, we're working on it. We have interviews back to back. Someone new is coming to join the team. And 1 month later, it's still the same thing. But the moment you drop your resignation letter, things begin to happen fast. Well, I'll get there. So I decided I wasn't going to meet anyone or talk to anyone anymore. I was going to look for another job. And then I opted on LinkedIn. Guys, if you do not have a LinkedIn account, I've said this thing on Instagram before, that the importance of LinkedIn cannot be overemphasized. To be honest, if you are a young person in this age and you do not have a LinkedIn page, go and open one. Go and open one. You will need it, to be honest. LinkedIn is that app that you would want to have. It's that app where you can always go on to build your connection. You can go on there to, just search. It's like, I don't know, there's this way that searching using some keywords would connect you to people that are already in your field, or people that have good information, the information you are looking for. So if you are not already on LinkedIn, I advise you to go on LinkedIn. Keep searching. If you're looking for a job, search for people that are in that line. Look for human resources guys that are in that line, or that are in organizations where you can search for. So the way LinkedIn works is that you don't only search with names, you can search with the title, the roles of the person, places, jobs, and all of that. So when you see people that are doing things that you love to do, you can reach out to them. Just don't bug them, right? Don't just write I and stay there. I mentioned something like that in my previous videos, where someone will reach out to you and just say I, and that's the end. Compose your mail in such a way that the person already knows what you want, and at the point of reading your message, not mail, I mean your LinkedIn message, the person already knows whether he or she can help you or not. You can reach out to a number of people, because not everyone will respond to you, but trust me, out of every 10 messages you send on LinkedIn, you get back at least 1 or 2 replies. So LinkedIn is that go-to app. It also has LinkedIn Learning. You can learn a whole lot of new things on LinkedIn. Wait for someone to teach you about LinkedIn, right? Don't be that person that when they ask you, do you know LinkedIn, or are you on LinkedIn, you're like, what's LinkedIn? That's why you have Google, that's why you have your phone. Alright, make that research and make yourself visible on LinkedIn. That's all I'm going to say. But LinkedIn was the app that helped me. It was my go-to app. I went on there, I started applying, reaching out to people, and one of my connections reached out to me. I was like, okay, you need someone that can resume ASAP, like immediately. Can you resume immediately? We're going to have, I can't even remember if I had an interview. I think I did, but to be honest, I can't remember from the top of my head. But I think I did, but it was a referral, and because it's a referral, you know how things work, right? They already know what you can do. They have all of your qualification, all your experiences already at a glance on LinkedIn, and then they were ready for me to resume immediately. At that point, it was like a good time for me to resign from my current place, because they're already bringing in new people, but I wasn't sure if they were going to bring them to my unit. You know the way things are, there are a lot of units that might be sourcing for different people, and they might not take you as priority. So I was like, okay, since they're bringing in new people, this is the best time to drop the bombshell. I'm just going to tell them I'm resigning, so that they can assign someone to me that I can train, and in no time I'll be out. So that was the plan. It was like a good plan. And then I remember the day that I drafted my resignation letter and sent it to HR. Things were just happening so fast, right? And my direct reports just called me and was like, Veronica, what's happening? Why do you want to resign? And all and all and all. I gave him all of my reasons. I was like, okay, no problem. Do you have a new offer? I said, yes. Okay. And then the head of human resources also called me. She was like, well, Veronica, I think you have to speak with the executive director. The executive director is like the owner of the company. She and her husband founded the organization. And she called me and was like, Veronica, I do not want you to go. Tell me what you want. And it's not going to be about a discussion on the phone. I want you to send me an email, tell me what you want, and we are going to approve it for you. She called me in less than how many hours again. I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? And that was when it dawned on me that people were actually watching. People were watching what I was doing. People, they understood the weight I carried, the position I occupied, the work I was doing was being recognized and all. And I thought that it wasn't very important because I was home. Like I told you, I was working from home, so nobody really cares. I stay up late a lot, nobody knows, and all of that. But the truth is that they all noticed, they all knew. And to that point, I realized. Okay, so she called me, executive director, and she called me and she was like, okay, Veronica, tell me what you want. Okay, that will keep you with us. Tell me, and I don't want you to just tell me, send me a mail, write them out in a list, and copy the head of human resources, copy your direct report, and all that we are going to make it happen. I'm like, okay, ma, I want more people on my team because the workload for me is much. She said, no problem, state it in the mail. And then you have to increase my salary because the new role I got obviously has a higher pay. So I can't let that go and still get something lower here. She said, no problem. Then the third thing I think I requested for was a break that I had been struggling to get, like a leave, because I was writing an exam at that time. I needed a break to prepare. And she was like, no problem, we even can give you like 2 days during the week off if you don't mind, if you want. And I'm like, man, no, I just want my weekends because I was working weekends, guy. I was working weekends too. And she was like, I should state it in the mail, and then she was going to approve all of it. And on the mail, when I sent it, she responded and was like, okay, let's effect this immediately. And what happened was that at that time, it was the time of our biannual appraisal where your KPI is checked. If you meet all of those KPI, key performance index, it states all of the roles you perform in a particular period, 6 months actually, January to June and June to December. So I think that one was June to December, so we're just going into a new month of January. So we just completed an appraisal where you rate yourself and then your direct head will rate you and see how best you performed in the last 6 months. So we had just completed that. So I didn't even know that they were already reviewing the appraisal, and then I was already recommended for promotion and all of that. But I had to know early because, of course, they didn't want me to go and I dropped my resignation. So everything happened fast like that, and that's when I realized that there are two sides to it. The side where you're like, okay, why do you have to wait till now before I know that I can get all of this? And the other side is where I'm like, okay, so you guys even noticed, and they're like, yes, we noticed. It reflected in all of your outputs and all of that. So that lesson taught me that whether or not you know it, like people see these things, and your reward will come if you do not slack, if you actually do what you're supposed to do, if you make sure that you don't think that there's nothing, I have nothing to lose, after all, it's my father's business and all of that. So there's a way the system will track it to you. The way systems work, and your name will be attached to it. And if it's like a poor job or poor work, just like, okay, Veronica did that, and it's not top notch, it's not okay, and all of that. Well, the main point from all of this is that have a mindset that you should always do things well. Do things with the mindset that, okay, whether or not it's going to affect me, whether or not I have nothing to lose, I'm going to put in all of my best. I'm going to perform an excellent work on this project, and let's see how it goes from there. Okay, so guys, that's the story for today. You guys can feel free to share which of all of these points resonated with you. I've spoken about a lot of things, spoken about LinkedIn. Are you on LinkedIn? Are you active? Do you find the app easy to use? Do you understand it? Do you need help getting around or getting a hang of it? Or do you have an organization where you're working from home? How's it going? Are you enjoying it? Do you love working from home, or do you prefer on-site, or are you an hybrid person? Or I also talked about compensation and recognition in your organizations. How does it work for you there? And all of that. Just share with me what point resonated with you the most. And I also want to advise you that whatever it is you're doing, just choose yourself, choose your peace of mind, choose yourself, and choose non-toxicity. Right? Whatever it is that is going to make your workplace toxic, run away from it. Okay, whatever it is that will give you depression and give you headache at work, please run away from it, especially when you have another offer on the table. Do not stay back, because those guys know what they're doing. They know that you're supposed to throw this offer at you before you even got to the point of resigning, but they waited till emergency. But my own organization used the fact that they were still going to come to me with it, but they were still on the discussion of appraisal and all of that. But I was already being, considered for all of it. But I came up earlier before they came to me, and I was like, okay. However, we are here now, and I've learned my lesson. It paid me actually to do my work without waiting for people to monitor me, or not thinking that since I'm not being recognized enough, I wouldn't do my work, I won't do my best, because I still put in my best, and people saw it in my output. It paid me at that time, and that's what I'm telling you. And it doesn't have to be at your workplace, it can be at anywhere that you find yourself, whatever area or facet of life that you find yourself. Make sure whatever you're doing it well, because it will pay. It will help you. The reward might not come very fast, but it will come eventually. Make the best decision for your career. Do not say that because probably I ditched another offer and stayed in my organization, that would be the best decision for you. No, I had my reasons why I made that decision. Okay, apart from every other thing I've shared here. So make your career a priority. If you're somewhere where you're not being recognized, and it's very toxic, and you're not enjoying the place, and you get another offer, even if the pay is lower, I would still advise you to leave, because there's nothing like having your peace of mind. Someone like me, I have definitely picked an offer with a lower pay than a particular one where I was in that was paying me higher. It's not a story for today, but it happened to me in the course of my career, and I know that these are things I would definitely touch in the future if you guys are interested. So please pick your career growth, pick your career progression, and learn from all of these lessons. But when you are applying it to yourself, be strategic about it, and be personal about it. Look at it based on your own context, how things are happening or flowing in your own life, how your situation is, not based on my own situation. So make sure that whatever you're doing, you choose your career, because even after I made that decision, a lot of things still happened after that. At least for that particular moment, things started working well, because I got everything I wanted. I got the people I wanted on my team. I got my salary increased. I also got the break I wanted. But I came back to it again, and the race continued. When I wrote the book, it was at a point where I got what I wanted, but I couldn't come back to update in my book how things eventually played out, because that's over some years now, about 2 to 3 years ago. So things continued to happen and unfold, and sometimes it would even look as if it wasn't even the best decision I made. But yeah, the point of it is that learn from whatever it is I'm sharing with you, learn for the different experiences, but be realistic, be real, and make sure that you're making decisions based on reality and based on the particular situation that you find yourself. Okay, but whatever it is you're doing, choose your peace of mind, choose your career progression, choose your growth, and love yourself. Choose your own self. Okay, as long as you are doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're doing it right, then whatever decision you make, I applaud you for it. So thank you so much, guys. That's it. That's the story. The lesson is just to tell you that whatever you're doing, make sure you're doing it right. Make sure that you do not take it lackadaisically because you feel that nobody is watching you. You have nothing to lose, because actually people will be watching you. And even if people are not watching you, when it's time for the reward, when they go back and check all of your outputs, if it's not worth it, then you might not get your reward, you might not get promoted, you might not get to the next level. It doesn't have to be at the workplace, it might be in your religious setting, it might be in your family, whatever it is, might be as a student. Whatever it is you're doing, make sure that you're doing it well. And I want to assure you, your reward is going to definitely come. It doesn't have to be now, but it will eventually come. So that when it comes, you will not regret that you did not do the right thing at that time. So that's what I want to bring out in this particular lesson. Thank you so much. If you watched to the end, I hope you learned something. Share with me. And if you're not subscribed yet to the channel, kindly subscribe, join the family, and also turn on the notification bell so that you'll be the first to be notified whenever I put up a video. Okay, make sure you're sharing it to people that need it. Encourage people, those young guys that are still struggling, that are I was all these things that happened to me was when I was young and growing. I still had a lot to learn, and I wish that people shared all of these stories with me from their own personal experiences. So making it quite easy for you. It's just a video. All you can do is to click the share button to share with someone that's in a professional setting that needs to be reminded to get active on LinkedIn, or that needs to be reminded that he or she should choose their peace of mind, and go for the best, apply away. If you know that where you are they're not recognizing you, do your best to be recognized, speak up and get the recognition that you need to get. Okay, share with people, comment, like as well. When you like this video, reaches more audience. So it's not just about clicking the like button. If you really like it and you do not click the like button, then more people might not get the video. So your like goes a long way, because it recommends this channel to more people that might need to watch this video. So thank you guys, and I'll see you all in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay.